All right, I'm on vacation this week, so there will probably be a lot of videos coming out from this week. But this is a luggage rack for my 2018 Springfield Dark Horse that I designed and sent off to Send Cut Send. I drew this up in Fusion 360 and designed it all in like the sheet metal part of Fusion 360, and then sent it to Send Cut Send, and they cut everything out, did all the bends in this bottom piece, and put all these threaded inserts in for me. So basically all I had to do when I got it back was bolt it together. One thing I wish I would have done is had them put the inserts on these two holes for the locks to lock it down. But I can put nuts on there. It's not a big deal. I've test fit this on the bike. I don't know if I have any other videos of this part, the design or test fit or anything. This is actually like the third version of this, I think, that I've had. But finally got it to where it all fits good, and just need to do some finishing, and then the pieces that attach to this to work with my camping setup are actually supposed to be showing up today, I think. So I should be able to put those on the bike and take it for a ride and make sure everything works as it should. Basically, the reason I built this is I'm using Milwaukee Packout toolboxes to haul my camping gear. And then I also use a Milwaukee Packout, or I have a Milwaukee Packout cooler that I'm going to use to just, you know, bring beer, food, water, whatever else we need to the campsites at night. Or just if we're going on a long day ride, strap the cooler on here and be able to just have water, soda, whatever. So if we're stopped somewhere that isn't a gas station, just to check out the view or whatever, we have nice cold drinks in the cooler. So when those parts come in, I'll show you those. But for now, I've got to take this apart, and just the corners here where these two bends meet, I need to weld those up just to make it a little more solid. It probably doesn't need to be welded, but this thing does flex a little bit. Then I'm also going to cut some pieces of flat bar to lay across here, just down flush with the bottom of this, I guess, tray is what you'd call it. I don't know. I guess I built it. I decided what to call it. That's a tray. So yeah, cut some pieces of flat stock. I think I have some 3/16. I think that's what this is. Yep, 3/16. So just 3/16 mild steel, lay across there, kind of stiffen it up a little bit, and not everything is going to use this tray. The mount for just a single pack out box is going to bolt to the front and rear of this, and I can offset it either more towards me or more towards the back of the bike, depending on if I want to have a passenger or not. But I use the big rolling chest that Milwaukee makes for my tent and sleeping bag and just all my camping gear. So I don't quite need that, but if we're going on a longer trip, it's better to have more room. So when I use that, the piece that holds that will actually bolt into these sides and not to this base plate. So it will need to be easy to put on, take off while this is on the motorcycle. So yeah, let's tear this thing down and get the welder out. I got some new toys for my welder. My TIG welder here. I got a CK Worldwide flex head number 17 torch, just because I wanted to have a nice torch to use. The torch that comes with that Vulcan welder is good enough. You can do a lot of welding with it. I've done a lot of welding with it, but the flex head is just a lot nicer to use. So I'm going to be using that, and hopefully I have enough gas. I don't have to run to the welding store. That'll get me through today. I'll have to go get some tomorrow. So yeah, let's get to work. It's the wrong size wrench.
Oh, we got the blessings of the emperor. Like, that's not a valid reason.
No, like I said,
It has to go through Congress.
like I said, last video, the administration says jump. The jump, right? So,
I forgot to change back to DC. That looks horrible. I think I screwed up this tungsten. Okay, had some interruptions there. Thought I had some mail, and then Eric called me. But got this all welded up, bolted back together now. I don't think it's warped. I think my table's warped actually. I've welded pretty hot on this thing, and it's just some thin metal, just a cheap Harbor Freight welding table. But let me grab a marker. Oh. We're going to take this bar stock, it's just 2-inch wide, 3/16 thick bar stock, and we're going to put it across here so it'll lay flat. Well, this tray will lay flat on this bar stock when it's welded in here. So we don't have to be super accurate. We will probably end up cleaning this up with a grinder anyway. But I got this marked, and I'm going to take it over to my bandsaw and cut it. Okay, now I have my two pieces cut. One is just a hair long, the other one is just a hair short. We'll make it work. The one that's just a little bit short, we'll just have to use a little bit more filler material. And the one that's long, we'll just beat into place and weld. Probably should have cleaned off all the mill scale and everything, but it'll be fine. This is going on my bike, not yours. If you want one, I'll build you a better one. But all that'll do is it just won't look quite as good. This is getting sanded down and painted anyway. It'll be more than strong enough. I need a welding helmet before I blind myself. You're supposed to use a different grinder to sharpen tungsten than everything else. You're not supposed to use that grinder on anything. I've never had an issue. You can impregnate your tungsten with other materials such as steel or aluminum or whatever else you're using that grinder, sander, or whatever on. And that can get in your weld and just make your weld all crappy. I've never had any issues with it. I've never had anything I TIG welded break. So I don't think I'll have an issue with it. If I do, you guys will see it because it'll probably be spectacular while we're on one of our trips. Big box of stuff from Cut Send. So let's go ahead and let this cool down for a minute and we'll see what else we got. We are not sponsored by them, but if anyone at Cut Send is watching, I would gladly work with you guys. I've been using you a lot lately. And I've loved everything I've gotten from Cut Send. They're pretty quick to ship stuff. And everything I've gotten from them has been amazing quality. The only issues on anything have been my design mess ups. Everything I've gotten from them also has been packaged exceptionally well. They send you what they're sending you, what parts you ordered. So, this is going to be the part that holds just a single Packout box. Had to do this in 2 pieces just because they can't bend anything longer than, I think 26 inches is the largest their benders can take, and I wanted this all CNC bent and everything so I wouldn't have to worry about getting the angles right with the tools I have in here. Every order I've gotten from them has had candy in it, so that's a plus. I like candy. Here is the big one. This is what's going to hold the rolling crate for our big trips. This is the one I'm a little bit more concerned with. I'm not sure if my measurements are completely right, just because measuring angles and stuff on something like that is kind of hard, and making it work with the bike. So I know it'll work with the bike. I think it'll hold the crate. It's cut out of some nice heavy duty steel. So I mean, it'll be some weight on the back of the bike, but won't be too bad. Let me go grab that rolling crate, set it up here, and we'll see how it fits. It's not that heavy, it's just kind of awkward to pick up. And sorry about the horrible camera placement on the last clip. Okay, yeah, I think that actually matches up pretty well. So that'll sit on there. I don't really have any way to secure it. I thought about making it bolt down, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of this whole setup if I have to take everything out of this and unbolt it to take it off. So maybe I could make something that comes up the sides and bolts into the sides. But I do have these little rings that I ordered off Amazon. Is I think a pack of 10 of them that are going to either get bolted with the bolts that hold the base together, or they may just end up being welded to it. I think they're 3/16 stainless. Probably just whatever the cheapest alloy stainless is, but these will get either bolted or welded to the base, and then there will be rock straps running up to secure this to the base. And I'll probably use 6 or so rock straps for this just to make sure it's secure, because I definitely don't want to lose this. But in the back here, can't really Well, I can bring the camera over and show you. Since this is my setup for long trips, I have it rigged up so I can get power for everything. Our Cenas, the cameras on our helmets, my iPad, which I use for directions and everything, all that. So all this stuff added on here. This was just me drunkenly measuring, so ignore these lines. I'll try and get those off. But this is just an SAE plug, same as a battery tender. And then all three of these have 2 USB ports and a USB-C, and they're switched, so I can turn these on and off individually. And they also have a voltmeter, so I can just look at that and see what the voltage on my battery is, or what voltage this is getting, because I also plan on modifying this inside with a way to just run a 18 volt Milwaukee battery, or a 12 volt Milwaukee battery to kind of get power and whatnot. So yeah, that's going to be my camping setup for now. We'll see how it works. Hopefully it'll work out pretty decent. This will be for long trips mainly. Short trips I'll have a more scaled down version, but told you I have a Milwaukee cooler. And it's also part of the Packout system. So this cooler, it's a 40 quart, I believe. Has purple power on it, which is neat. But this it's being a pain in the ass. Oh, we'll walk in right there, and then I could put a Milwaukee crate right here, or I have a box that's about this size that I was thinking about turning into a kitchen setup. But if I just want to take this and bring a cooler with me, or if I just want to bring the cooler with me, that's what the first part was for. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let's quit wasting time and get that tore apart, get everything all welded up, finish welded, and then we can throw all this together, maybe slap it on the bike and take it for a test drive. Alright, well, I'm not very good at this YouTube stuff, so I did some work on this thing off camera. That's still hot. But, this is the mount for the big Packout rolling crate. When this was all together, it was all way too heavy, so I had to take some weight out of it. Got the plasma cutter out, took some weight out of it. Could have done it with a grinder, and I will have to go through and clean these up with a grinder, because I'm not the smoothest at running the plasma cutter, but took a fair amount of weight out of this. And I had to cut this end off because it wasn't letting it, this end, I don't know if I was still on camera, but had to cut this end off because it wasn't letting it line up with the bolt holes. Then on this guy was also way too heavy, so cut a big chunk out there. Don't think I can really cut all that much more without severely weakening it. Currently it's just as strong as it was. So, I mean, I'm sure I could cut a little bit more out, but it's good as it is. I might weld just a thin piece of that. Is still hot. Just a thin piece of sheet metal over there just to make it look a little better, because that wouldn't have much weight. I did add these two supports in here just to stiffen it side to side. Still not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was. That's hot there too. It's a lot better than what it was. So yeah, just a little bit more cleaning up with a grinder. Then paint. So yeah, just wanted to give a quick update on this thing. Locks work good. They don't like actually latch in. I don't know how they do that on normal sissy bars. If it's that the lock piece is actually curved up a little bit so it like snaps over the rubber mount on the bike or what, but with the weight I'll have on this thing and those just flip down over it, I don't think I'll have any issue with anything coming off of the bike. I don't plan on entering a supercross race with all my luggage on the bike, so I think we'll probably be okay. But yeah, was still having issues with my welds on these supports, and then when I cut this stuff, it's not as hot now, it's still warm, but when I cut this stuff it leaves a really gross film, like smoke residue on everything. So I'm sure it's just there's an oil on there that the brake parts cleaner I was using wasn't getting off. But even like spraying brake parts cleaner on it and scrubbing the area with Scotch-Brite, because I keep Scotch-Brite around here in the shop, didn't give me a clean weld. So I don't know what they're using to coat this stuff, but this is just mild steel. I would rather have a little bit of surface rust to deal with than have it be this much of a pain in the ass, but all worked out good. Nice and sturdy. I mean, a little loose up here, but also like it gets locked in up here. So there's a little bit of flex side to side back here. My fancy little design I had cut into the sides isn't helping. The better way to do this would have been to just have this bottom piece cut and do tubing off of that up to this top piece, and then just have the top piece made like I have it here. So just basically a square with the center cut out and then the things on all four sides, and I could have welded that up, welded to the tubing coming down. But I will know for if I have to build another one for if I get a different bike. Because eventually I do plan on having a Road Glide, and I don't want a Road Glide Ultra, so it will probably be a Road Glide ST with no tour pack, and then just use this same setup when we go on trips. Have it stripped down when we're not on a trip. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more welding just to clean some of these edges up, and then grind it, paint it, show you the finished project. Alright, well, I don't know if you can, or I mean you can't see in front of me, but I don't know if you can see in the mirror there. I am test riding the bike with the Milwaukee box on the back, and so far noticed I need to air up my rear suspension a bit. It's taking a little bit too much weight off the front end, making it a little bit wobbly at slow speed, but once you get moving it's fine. Seems pretty solid so far. I don't feel it really moving at all back there. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell there's some weight behind you, but that weight's also pretty far back, and it could move forward a little bit more. I mean, hell, I have to lean back to touch it, so that could be something that I may mess with a little bit. See if I can cut, weld some stuff, move it forward 3 inches or so would be plenty. Also, my probably front tire. Yeah, my front tire is a little low on pressure right now, so that's not helping with the front end wobble. But I mean, it's not unmanageable. It's not like it's going to throw me on the ground or anything. It's definitely not something I would take off on a long ride with right now, but that's why I'm out here testing, so I can figure out what needs done so this is good for a long ride. Something that maybe if someone else wants, I could build for them. Yeah, there it is on the bike. Go buy this oil filter and I'll be back. Okay, so I like a pretty firm rear suspension, or just suspension in general. So I put 40 pounds in, and we'll see how that does. Okay, low speed definitely feels better. Just got done editing this video. The rack that's on the bike right now works good enough for right now. It'll get me through this first trip, couple trips I got planned for this year. But I will be going through designing a better one, and I'll have recordings from the computer of me doing that. Just changing up the design, really, or I might just go through and completely rebuild it and kind of do a how-to on designing sheet metal stuff in Fusion 360, if anyone's interested in that. And then go through the whole thing, sending everything off to Send Cut Send and everything. Don't really have anything spectacular coming up that I know like specifically when it's going to happen yet. My new exhaust for the Springfield is going to be here this coming week, so we might put that on and just throw a normal Dynojet tune on the bike for now, or I might wait and just haul it down to Kansas City with me when I go get the big bore kit and cams done. But currently I'm sitting watching all the racing going on in Daytona. Sitting here on the phone with Jib. Probably hear him too since phone's on speaker.
Hi!
You got anything to say to the nice people, Jib?
Yeah, hey nice people, I got something to say. So, we're watching the baggers race, and ironically, Harley just happens to spew a leak of oil all over the track and end qualifying. The beautiful people just wanted to see a nice qualifying session. And, yeah, I don't know, it was funnier, I guess, in my head than that came out to be.
Yeah, I mean, you got Harleys out there doing Harley stuff. It's nothing new. But, that hooligan race. Race 1 for the Super Hooligans. If you guys didn't watch that, you need to go find somewhere to watch it, because that pass there on the last lap between O'Hara and Bobby Fong was just incredible. That was some amazing riding from both of them the whole race, and Bobby was working his ass off to try and make sure O'Hara didn't get around him there on the end. But yeah, awesome race. Hope we're gonna get to see more of it the rest of this weekend. I guess just tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got to say.
Yep, I think the baggers series this year and the hooligans are going to be exciting.
Yeah. So we probably won't be able to shut up about that all year. I am really ready to go to Road America. Have been, but watching this is making me even more excited for it.
Yeah, how hard is it gonna be to get out on the road and keep in mind that, hey, if I run my bike at max speed, I'm liable to go to jail. 180 mile an hour though these guys are doing. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is wild. And I mean, they're modified bikes, but like the geometry's all the same. Like they've got better suspension and stuff, but that's a stock frame. That frame they're not allowed to modify the frame at all. So
I failed that class, so I can't relate. But yeah, geometry.
Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. So if you liked it, like it. I'm sorry for the how blown out and bright the very last clip in this video is. The ISO on my Insta360 got changed somehow, probably when I was going through looking for mic gain settings to help Jib not fuck up our audio. I went and fucked up our video. But I'll work on that, and I've had some problems with that on other cameras, so that's something I need to start paying attention to, make sure it's set right. But yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you like to, leave a comment. I'm an idiot and don't know how to weld, because there's a lot of me being horrible at welding and figuring out what's wrong with my TIG welder in this video. So yeah, did get that figured out, by the way. It was the gas lens in my torch was plugged up and not letting gas flow, so it's basically TIG welding without gas, and that doesn't go well. But yeah, thanks for watching.